Welcome to another Ziva Math video. In this video, we will teach you how to multiply fractions using models. This video will specifically focus on multiplying unit fractions by whole numbers and whole numbers by unit fractions. You can find our other fraction videos using the link to our fraction playlist in the description below. Let's start with multiplying unit fractions by whole numbers. This example is 1/5 times 4, so 1/5 4 times. To do this multiplication with a model, I'm going to first draw a hole, and I'm going to divide that hole into fifths because I'm multiplying 1/5 4 times. Then I'll begin shading 1/5 one time, 1/5 two times, 1/5 three times, and I'll shade in one more to have 1/5 four times. So once I have a model shaded, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections of the model shaded, and the model is divided into fifths. So 1/5 times 4 is equal to 4/5. This example is 1/3 times 5, so 1/3 5 times. And I'm going to start my model by drawing a hole and dividing it into thirds. Then I'll shade in 1/3 one time, two times, three times. I actually need 1/3 five times, so I'm going to need to draw another hole, dividing it into thirds. And I'll shade in the first third here, which makes 4/3, and I'll shade in one more, which gives me 5/3. So 1/3 times 5 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I shaded in 5 pieces, and each one of those parts was a third. So 1/3 times 5 equals 5/3. 5/3 is an improper fraction, so to turn it into a mixed number, notice in my model I have one hole shaded in, and then I have 1 2/3 remaining. So 1/3 times 5 is equal to 1 2/3. This example is 1/4 times 4. To show this multiplication using a model, I'm first going to draw a hole and divide it into fourths. And I have 1/4 4 times. So I'll shade in 1/4 one time, two times, three times, four times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths. And 4/4 simplifies to one whole. And we can see in our model that we shaded in the entire whole. Now let's look at multiplying whole numbers by unit fractions using models. This example is 5 times 1/6, and there are different ways for you to think about how to set the model up for this problem. First, we have 5 holes, or you can think about this as having 5 groups. So I drew a model with 5 holes, and because I'm multiplying by 1/6, I divided each of the holes into 6. Then, to multiply 5 times 1/6, I can shade in 1/6 in each hole or in each group. From this model, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shaded in. Another way you can think about this is after you have your shading here, then you can move the shaded 1/6 pieces into the same hole. Now you can easily see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This can be very useful for problems where your product will be a mixed number. Another way to think about this problem is using the commutative property and think about this as 1/6 times 5, which we can model by drawing a hole divided into 6 and then shading 1/6 5 times. No matter how you approach shading a model to show 5 times 1/6, 5 times 1/6 equals 5/6. This example is 3 times a half, and I'm thinking about this problem as being 3 groups of 1/2. So to model this problem, I will start by showing three groups or three wholes that I've divided into halves. To show 3 times 1/2, I'll shade in 1/2 in each group. Now I have 1, 2, 3 halves shaded in. 3 halves is an improper fraction, and if you need to show your product as a mixed number, you can move one of your shaded parts to show that you have one whole and a half. 3 halves equals 1 1/2. But this isn't the only way you can approach this problem. You can think about this as being 1/2 times 3, or 1/2 3 times. And I can model this by starting with a whole that I've divided into halves and shading 1, 2, and I'll need another whole, 3 halves. And taking this approach to shading 1/2 times 3, I can clearly see that I have 1 1/2 shaded. No matter how you choose to model this problem, 3 times 1/2 equals 1 1/2. This example is 4 times 1/3, and I'm thinking about this problem as being 4 groups of 1/3. So to model this problem, I'll start by showing 4 groups, or 4 wholes, that I've divided into 1/3s. To show 4 times 1/3, I'll shade in 1/3 in each group. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4/3 shaded. 4/3 is an improper fraction, and if you need to show your product as a mixed number, you can move your shaded parts to show that you have one whole and 1/3. 4 times 1/3 equals 1 1/3. This isn't the only way you can approach this problem. You can think about this problem as being 1/3 times 4. And if I think about the problem this way, I can model it by starting with a whole that's divided into thirds. And I want to shade the 1/3 parts 4 times. So that's 1, 2, 3. I've only shaded 1/3 3 times. So I'm going to need another whole divided into thirds so I can shade a fourth 1/3 part. And as you can see with this variation in the models, you'll get the same answer. 4 times 1/3 equals 1 1/3. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to Ziva Math for more videos.